Hello and welcome to your astrological vibrations for Saturday, December 8th and Sunday, December 9th, 2018 by Gaia Blooming. I am Mimi and our energy mantra for today is my responsibility is to my light. And this weekend we have the moon shifting into Capricorn, and I just learned a very interesting fact about the planet Saturn, which rules Capricorn, which we will look into. But the thing that we are mostly looking at this weekend is Chiron moving direct. So on Saturday in the evening, like 10 p.m. something Pacific, Chiron is moving direct. Chiron has been retrograde since July 4th. So with Chiron moving direct, we have one planet left that's working that retrograde action, and that is Uranus. And that will be until we hit the new year in 2019 that it goes direct. So we have a little bit more retrograde. But if you remember, at one point we had 7, 8 energies that were retrograde. Chiron moving direct. My feeling is, especially with the cards, is that it's not going to be like, oh my god, I feel the shift. Some planets, when they go direct, it's like, oh, especially Mars, it's like, I feel it. It's direct. Okay, forward motion. Chiron, I do not feel is going to feel so drastic, especially because Chiron is still working that grand trine with the North Node in Cancer and Mercury now direct in Scorpio. And in fact, on Sunday, Mercury and Chiron are going to have their exact trine energy once again. So it's still in this energy where in order to move into our destiny, we're still processing these past karmic things. My feeling is that with this direct energy that you've done the processing, and now it's about making sure you're taking that off-ramp, that you are moving in the direction of destiny rather than focusing on any of this old stuff. It's not to say that there may not be a few things that come up, that cords that need to be cut, or even resentments that need to be healed, processed, released. That definitely can happen. But between Mercury now direct, so we're not digging as deep into that Scorpio shadow energy, and with Chiron now direct, it is about forward movement into your destiny. But be aware of those little instances that do come up that still do need your attention. One of the things too, as planets go direct, it's like, hey, what have your lessons been? What have your karmic, ancestral, deep lessons, what have they been since July? Now, to be fair, Chiron has been in 2 signs since July. Chiron began the retrograde process in the sign of Aries. So with Aries, we really look into the energy of our soul, and our I am, embracing the I am, healing the I am of our soul. That's what my feeling is about this Chiron energy in Aries when it goes back. It really is about healing on the soul level. But in order to get there, one of my favorite processes I ever learned in doing energy work, shamanic work, was soul retrieval. And that's my feeling kind of as Chiron went back into Pisces and worked these things. I would move through these karmic contracts, releasing these things, cutting these cords. It was like doing soul retrieval on ourselves, allowing back in these pieces of light that due to trauma in our ancestral line, trauma in past lives that we had cut off. So as we are moving forward, be vigilant to your light. The energy mantra for today, my responsibility is to my light. My responsibility is to my soul. My responsibility is to myself and my destiny in reaching for the light, in reaching for the yeses and moving in that direction, trusting yourself in order to move in that direction. So, like I said, not that intense, but yet we are still moving and grooving towards the light. Honor yourself, nurture yourself through these energies. Remember, this is still grand trine water energy, so it has a high emotional quality, and we're being encouraged to float. Take it slow, take it easy, and float your way through it. Now that's interesting because that's what I want to mention. We have the moon in Capricorn. And so, if you know astrology, Capricorn has a let's get to work, let's get to business. It's an earth sign. Very respectable in its nature. So the moon in Capricorn can put a part of us in that space where it's like, yes, I want to get the things done. I want to remind us always that our ultimate responsibility is to our soul purpose. It is to our soul mission. And I know living on this planet, it can be sometimes hard to balance, but there is a balance for all of us out there. It's just getting to the place where we can find it. But here's the thing that I just learned about Saturn, the planet that rules Capricorn. I was sitting here talking with Joe, and we were talking about planetary sizes and why Pluto, according to some, is not a planet. And so we were looking at the planetary sizes just to see what they looked like next to each other. And there was one that had little facts next to each planet. And the fact next to Saturn, and to be fair, I am not an astronomer, so I do not know for sure this is true, but feels about right. The fact about Saturn was that Saturn, if it was dropped in water, would float. And that's so interesting because Saturn brings such a denseness and it brings such a heaviness. But I feel like what brings the density, what brings the heaviness is because we're still trying to balance, okay, this is what my soul wants. This is what my soul desires. This is my soul purpose. And this is what I'm meant to be doing. And then this is what society wants. And this is how I should show up in the world. The shoulds that really bring the denseness. What if we learned to float along with Saturn rather than bring this heaviness to the Saturn energy, which is trying to live up to the shoulds? Just saying, it's not necessarily an easy shift, but it's something to think about as we tune into the energy of responsibility, which is something that I bring along to the Saturn energy. Responsibility. A lot of us tune into responsibility as I'm responsible for living up to society's shoulds. Responsibility to me is it is up to us to respond, that we have the ability to respond in a way that is true to our soul, that is true to us, and that is our highest calling. So with this moon in Capricorn, as we are veering out of these old karmic patterns onto this new path, it is up to you to make your responsibility to your light. Are you floating right now, or are you lugging a heavy boulder up a mountain? You don't have to be lugging the heavy boulder. It is not our work to be lugging the heavy boulder. And in fact, if you do that, it leads quite often to this. This is my feeling for this weekend. You are either going to feel this, and if you are feeling this, you may be lugging some heavy boulders, or you're going to be in receptivity. Exhaustion or receptivity. Receptivity is allowing the light in. Exhaustion is where you're still interacting with the shoulds. And it's a call to get past the shoulds that are holding you back. So let's actually look at the astro since we've looked at the cards. Moon moving into Capricorn, 4 a.m. Pacific time on Saturday morning. The first connection is the moon connecting with Venus. Venus in Scorpio. Venus in Scorpio offering intimacy with the self. What are your deepest needs? What are your deepest desires? I do believe that desire has its place for us. Sometimes we have to look. Sometimes they're egoic desires, and sometimes there are the soul desire energies. Soul desire, my feeling, is pushing us towards what we really want. We have to bring that vigilance, though. Like, where is an egoic desire, and where is it this authentic push and pull to move us in our right direction? And can you honor these energies? How can you show up? How can you float along with these energies? The next connection is Saturn connecting with the moon, or the moon connecting with Saturn at 8 degrees. 8 degrees is that Saturn degree. So this is a call to connect with that soul responsibility, the soul purpose. Again, notice, are things feeling very heavy for you at the moment? Or are you engaging on some level with your soul purpose? I feel like engaging with the soul purpose and just even allowing it to trickle in, even if we're not taking the action, just even engaging with it on an energetic level brings an lightness to being, because your soul, your energy, your higher self's like, oh, okay, you're getting there, versus when we shut it out, ignore it, and put our all into everything else. That's when life becomes the doldrums. That's when life becomes humdrum. So be very aware of where you're at in your personal energy field. Last aspect of the day on Saturday is Chiron moving direct, which we already talked about, but just be aware. Be aware of what comes up for you. You know, every body has their own personal planetary interaction. Some planets are stronger for some people. Some planets are a little less strong for some people. You may feel this really strongly. I feel like in general, it's going to be like, all right, a minor shift. And it's like taking an off-ramp on a long trip. We're not done the trip, but we're taking the off-ramp. And there's a difference in the roads kind of energy. Moon in Capricorn continues on Sunday, connecting with Neptune. Again, bringing the lightness of being. We've been talking about tuning into spirit, tuning into soul in order to show you how to move. The moon, or let's go with this, Mars and Neptune are still very close together as of this recording. We had them together today. So the moon is connecting with both of them. It's still about connecting within to show you how to move. Connect in with your yin. Sorry, I got popped in the middle. Be receptive to your yin in order to take your responsible action. Mercury connecting with Chiron. We already did look at that. Be there, be present for any insights that come through, and like I said, any tidbits of like cords or anything else, cords, resentments, forgivenesses that come up. And just to remind you, my favorite healing definition of forgiveness, one of the things that served me most, is to release the hope that it could have been different. And when you do that, you can drop a lot of that weight from yourself. The final aspect of Sunday is the moon connecting with Pluto. And I love this because Pluto is that planet of transformation energy. And even though it is little, it really does pack a punch. So as the moon connects with Pluto, some shadows may come up. Notice if there's any shadows around your personal control, because I think often we carry the shoulds as part of our own control habits rather than out of necessity. So be very aware of that and realize that you are worth putting down the control, putting down the shoulds, and being able to float like the planet Saturn. All right, so that is it for today. Email me if you would like to book a reading. 2019 readings, I am starting them this week, actually doing them. So, here we go into 2019 mentality. Other readings are available, half-hour readings, holiday sale readings are available. Email me for any of that. Besides that, you have the power. The better it gets, and there is enough love in the world for you. Namaste.